which is bitter and it is at the same time sweet. And it would be remiss not to remember our 4 colleagues who should have been with us today, but for reasons not known to us, they are not. I want to take this opportunity to reiterate my position as the Chief Justice and as the Chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission, and state that all persons recommended by the JSC and as directed by the Constitution must be appointed as judges. That is the law. I am a judge. I do not want to enter into any controversy because at the end of the day, I shouldn't. I'm an adjudicator. But I'm duty bound to reiterate this position and continue to call on His Excellency the President to appoint the remaining 6 judges, 4 of whom would be joining this court. That said, ladies and gentlemen, the difficult times the judiciary is facing and the attacks on the courts and the judicial independence are not new, but they require our renewed resolve at an individual and institutional level. At an individual level, every judicial officer, every judge has a duty to safeguard their independence, and especially the independence of their judicial decisions, to be guided by our oath of office that compels us that we must decide cases without any fear, favor, bias, affection, ill will, prejudice, any political, religious, or other influence. This individual judicial independence is especially important during times such as this, and indeed all the time. As I said during my own assumption of office only 3 weeks ago, the independence of the judiciary remains under serious threat of capture, and the culprits, unfortunately, are not only limited to agencies within government or politics, but also include private sector, civil society, business community, others who I will not name. As we continue to hear voices directing judges on how to decide or not to decide cases, sometimes we are told not to dare touch a matter. And then you wonder what happened to the oath of office, not to fear, not to decide based on fear. We are told not to decide, not to exercise our judicial minds otherwise than in a certain way. And one wonders what happened to the principle of even matters that are pending in court. To me, these unsolicited commands are tantamount to interference with the judge's independence, as the Constitution forbids any party or authority from directing us in the discharge of our duties. As I undertake to defend and protect our institutional independence, I would prevail upon all parties also to respect what is stated in the Constitution, to respect judicial independence of judges and not direct judges on what to do. It has been said many times, and it bears repeating, that the independence of the judiciary will remain a mere illusion and what Indians call wiro aho a whisper, as long as it is not secured by its own independent fund. And I apologize, Honorable Speaker, I will have to speak about funding. Mandy did not warn me that she had given a secret undertaking to you. We need funding to undertake the various activities, programs, projects that are required for us to discharge duty. At the institutional level, I pledge to continue to pursue the operationalization of the Judicial Fund and to ensure systems and structures are in place for accountability. The national budget for the financial year 2021 2022 was only learned yesterday. And of the 3.3 trillion planned, judiciary only got 17 billion. This has been the indicative budget amount for the judiciary for the first several years. And Mr. Speaker, you can see how dilapidated we are operating from this museum, which I've wondered why the Ministry of Health has not condemned it as unfit for human habitation. We have 36 other courts buildings that are almost complete but cannot be occupied because we have no money to complete those buildings. Kenyans travel an average of 175 kilometers to access justice. So, Mr. Speaker, I note that even though the judiciary is decentralized across the country and employs over 5,000 staff, it is half of what your parliament gets. And we have no issue with what you get, but we are saying if we have to tackle the backlog of cases, if we have to adopt technology to enhance efficiency across the courts, if we have to improve the infrastructure, because it is imperative also for the judiciary to serve the public with dignity, and taking justice closer to the people, increasing the speed of resolution of cases, and coordination of the justice across, we require funds allocated to the judiciary. The judiciary earned the benefit of funding from the World Bank through what we call a Judicial Performance Improvement Project for the past 5 years. However, even though this funding was significant, judiciary's day-to-day work cannot depend on donor funding, and I'm most grateful to the donors who have come in aid to support us, especially in training. And therefore, we continue to call on Parliament and the National Treasury to fully fund the judiciary's budget. While I assumed office at the end of the budget cycle, I'm requesting that even before the mid-year review of the national budget, the judiciary's budget should be fully funded, including activating the judiciary fund, because when we have our own fund, then we can be able to control it, and we can even be able to fundraise from other sources. My vision, which I have shared repeatedly since I assumed office, is that we will continue to build on the firm foundations by our predecessors. I will only hand a focus to a bottom-up approach towards improving access to justice, and especially the quality of justice. This is because I appreciate the two blueprints have dealt with the transformation of the institution of the judiciary, and we also have a duty to seek to transform our society, because justice cuts across everybody. It is in the interest of everybody that justice is done to them and to the other person. My dream, therefore, is to work with the entire judiciary, the President of the Court of Appeal, and other stakeholders to build lasting partnerships in and out of the administration of justice. This is with the view of building their capacity with knowledge that will help them bear their own agency as champions for justice. When everybody becomes an agent and champion for justice, this is when we'll start looking for our own indigenous solutions that leads us to seek always reconciliation and peace. Moreover, this way, many will avoid violence and conflict and other pitfalls or black spots that lead to endless court cases. While this might sound radical, it is the vision of the 2010 Constitution for the judiciary to not only be transformed, but also to transform the country into a democratic, participatory, accountable, and egalitarian society. As we celebrate the transition in leadership at the helm of the Court of Appeal, and welcome the new justices, I want us to stop and reflect on our resilience as a court and as an institution. This resilience is a function of both good leadership and a strong team. We often focus on the person in leadership to the exclusion of others, and yet the whole requires both the leader and the team. We need each other, and together we can continue to sustain this great institution. And we do that by each playing our judicial role and by collectively holding each other up to accountability. We are as strong as our weakest link. This doesn't mean we cannot be at times dejected or feel like circumstances are unjust or unfair, because we are human. Our career, which is also a calling, can be lonely, and we must lean on each other for support and strength. Most importantly, we must remember our constitutional law and acquit ourselves accordingly, exercising authority on behalf of the people and for and on behalf of the people as guided by the Constitution. We are servants of the people. In this regard, the Court of Appeal, as the court of last resort for the vast majority of legal matters, has an important role to play in terms of providing leadership and influence on jurisprudence over other courts. Justice Ouko has spoken very eloquently about the Court of Appeal as the curator of judges. We were all nurtured and meted as jurists in that court, and our simultaneous promotion to the office of the CJ and the judge of the Supreme Court, and that of my predecessor, the Honorable retired Justice Maraga, and the Deputy Chief Justice, the Honorable Philomena Mwiru, in 2016, are all testament to the great leadership provided by that court. I want to acknowledge the robust indigenous jurisprudence that is emerging, including the positive regional and international attention the decisions from our High Court and the Court of Appeal are getting. As we welcome our new justices and mark this important milestone, I'm encouraged and excited at the possibilities of the Court of Appeal. In closing, I want to reaffirm my support for Justice Musinga as he assumes the leadership. Justice Musinga, congratulations. We look forward to celebrating you. Thank you. Sorry, I react to carpets. Yeah, we look forward to celebrating you and additional accomplishments under your able stewardship. Thank you, and God bless you.